Tribe, happy Monday. Listen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I hope that your battery's recharged and you're ready to attack the week. I hope that you are like, whoa, it's Monday, not like, oh, it's Monday. Because I've spent plenty of time being, oh, it's Monday. But let me tell you, I got a little theme that I want to talk about this week. It's kind of dark, maybe. I don't know. Hopefully, it'll help you. And listen, if you know people struggling in their marriage, if you think that anyone around you is struggling in their marriage, please click the share button because I'm going to bring good content this week and I want people to know about it. I want them to be plugged in. And if you hop over to YouTube, please click subscribe. I just want to continue to help people with what I've been through. So let's talk about suffering this week. That's joyful, right? Suffering. But here's the thing. I think there are a lot of people out there who do have suffering in their relationship. You know, maybe things aren't firing on all cylinders at home. Maybe home is chaos, or maybe it's full of hurt and resentment that some stuff has happened in the relationship. Shoot, some of it maybe even predates this relationship. We all come into a marriage with injuries that have happened to us before. And if we haven't managed those well, then those can actually continue to flare up and cause a problem. So I look around and I see a world that's just full of hurt and suffering. And then what happens? We don't really know what to do with the suffering, right? So that's what I want to talk about this week. I want to talk about what do you do if you find yourself in the middle of a relationship, of a marriage, and you're hurt and things aren't great. You know, I talk to people in this situation, and you know what we usually do? We start looking for an out. We want to go out into the world and find a relationship with someone else who hasn't hurt us. And I'm here to tell you from experience that that is ineffective. See, we got to get our stuff taken care of in the now, or it's going to continue to haunt us. Maybe you're still affected by some previous things that happened in relationships or when you were younger, ways in which you were hurt. And until you deal with that, it's going to keep grinding at you. So what do we do with suffering? If you know our story, Megan and I, God repaired our marriage after infidelity 4 years ago. And so, man, we know what suffering is. I know what that looks like. And I'm here to tell you that suffering can be a means to grow. In fact, it normally is. There's not a lot of growth that happens when we're comfortable. Do you agree? Like if you're just at a calm place in some area of your life, there's not a lot changing, right? But when we go through a valley, that's when we have to pay attention and look around and go, okay, what needs to change? You see, I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he and his wife are seeing they're seeing a counselor, not a Christian counselor, but the counselor has said, hey, if you're not at this certain milestone by this time, we just need to talk about separation. I'm like, what? Don't get a divorce. Don't separate. Like, just view yourselves as having a marriage before God and that you're stuck with one another. So we might as well figure it out and make it incredible, because that's possible. I've screwed up. I've been divorced twice. So this is not a judgment against somebody. It's just from my experience. Like, don't get divorced. Like, there's so many things that this opens up that you don't even see. I've got a video on YouTube called The Unintended Consequences of Divorce. Go find that and then say, yeah, sign me up. Like, divorce is horrible. I do a 12-week coaching program, either in person or virtually via Zoom, with couples, in which each week I take them through and kind of teach them kind of the building blocks of how to restore their marriage and how to just fall madly in love with each other. And week one of that is called The Obstacle is the Opportunity. So why do I say that? Why do I start with that? Because difficulties that we're facing in our relationship, it comes from ways in which I or my wife or both of us probably, right? Let's face it, that we need to change, right? Broken in us, that we're not getting along. So those come about as a result of my character and her character defects. And so God wants to get in and change that. Oswald Chambers said, life is what builds our strength. So think about it. It's no different than going to the gym, right? right? You got to put your muscles against strain to grow. And the same is true of life, but we miss it. Like, we don't want that strain of life. But I'm here to tell you that if you will embrace it, if you will look at it almost from the outside looking in, and you'll say, okay, God, what is it about me that needs to change? What is it about my marriage that needs to change? Don't look at it like, what about my spouse that needs to change? You can give me a list of 25 things right now that your spouse needs to change. You know that inside and out. But we got to look at ourselves, like, what in me needs to change? And therein lies the opportunity. So when you look at your relationship and you know that there are places in which you guys are just like knocking heads, what if you shifted your frame of mind? Okay, these are ways in which we can change and grow, and then we can come out on the other side of it having been perfected in this way, right? Like, if the difficulties communication, if we just put our heads down and we get books, or we get with a coach or a counselor and we figure out how to communicate, we take that skill with us for the rest of our lives. And it also affects other areas of your life, even outside of your relationship. So if you want an amazing life, find an amazing marriage, not find an amazing partner. They're all broken. You got to figure this out where you are. You got to find contentment and peace and restoration where you are. Don't go make a new contract with somebody else. That's not the answer. But in the suffering is the place in which we are changed. And that change comes from the inside out, and then it's more likely to be permanent. I'm not talking about putting a Band-Aid on something or sweeping something under the rug. I'm talking about true, honest change, like walking in integrity, where you're the same inside closed doors as you are to the outside world, right? I'm talking about healing and wholeness. Guys, this is available for you. So listen, click the share button, find somebody that needs to hear this, because we're here to help, right? There are people around that can walk this out with you, so that you don't get bogged down and you allow God to repurpose your pain, so that not only your marriage has changed, but then who knows, maybe you can make an impact in someone else's life. All right, I love you guys. Have a blessed day. Let's do this tomorrow morning. Bye.